we've got a Slar picked up here for Neon, a hero that we don't really see too often. Do you feel like this is a decent Slar game?
I mean, it's not a bad slot game, but there's nothing that screams to me like this is the hero that you want to be picking right now. I mean, it does suggest that they want to get super aggressive super early on, and with the Slark in that position 1 role, oftentimes you can
Monkey King.
get caught out with a lot of this AoE damage. I mean, Pango does a decent amount. Monkey King can still get the Boundless Strike off when you pop the Shadow Dance, but it means that they need to be playing very high tempo, and that's something that Clockwork thrives on. Obviously, he falls off a fair amount towards the later stages of the game. Lena, I feel like she definitely peaks with how strong she is in the laning stage, and yes, you can still go late game now with a change to the Silver Edge, but Night Stalker as well, such a beast early, and Slark if the laning stage goes well, same sort of deal. So I feel like Neon are going to be taking this one in a really aggressive manner. My thing is like, how are they going to put this as a last pick? Because this could still be a Lena offlane, a Lena position 4, because it's something that Hustler plays, and against the Monkey King, most likely going to be the position 1. It's not too bad, right? You can just continuously harass him out of the lane. There's not going to be too many instances where you're just getting run at.
Well, what boxes do you feel like need to be checked off with this last pick for Neon and SMG? Does anything stand out?
I want to see what they're looking to go for with these last bans as well. I mean, the bans kind of suggest that it might be Alina, right? Mid, because it's against the TA, it's against the Invoker, 2 decent matchups against it. But they still seem to think that this might be the mid hero still to come for Makoto. So they're just getting rid of some of his real comfort in the Storm Spirit in particular. So what they want, they've got a good way to start team fights. They've got, I mean, they don't have reliable stuns, right? Like hook shot is a skill shot, light strike array, skill shot, pounce, skill shot. So a nice, easy way to be able to lock down one of these key targets, whether it be the Monkey King or the Pangalia. I think that's going to be quite key for Neon to come through.
See, I mean, for SMG as well in particular, for Moon, there's some flexibility overall with the heroes they have currently. For them, like, is there anything that you'd like to see Moon on at the moment? Do you feel like they need like some way to start fights, or is the Pangalia going to be enough here?
I think he can be enough. I feel like Monkey King is also a decent way to start fights these days. So many times we see him being the actual initiator with the Boundless Strike into the Primal Spring. You get the slow, and then it just enables the Pango follow-up to be so much more effective. Can't read the IO, huh? So I think SMG, they're not entirely sure with how this lane's going to go. It's going to be like it's not like a Death Prophet game. I'm just trying to think of like Moon's signature heroes, When you think of it, it's like DP, Lena, Tinker, occasionally the Storm Spirit, but all of them are gone, and I don't think this is a Tinker game at all.
Yeah, not against the Night Stalker. Although, like, I mean, that hero is not going to have a good lane at all. Whether it's the Monkey ET, Monkey Silencer, Monkey Pango, doesn't matter. Like, those heroes are really going to body the Night Stalker. We've seen time and time again, this hero in the first 5 minutes is atrocious. And, I remember that game we were casting I-League where Fly just bodied the Night Stalker in the lane. He completely dominated. Night Stalker had 0 game at all. I feel like that could be similar with the Monkey, but OB.Neon gone for the Sky. So, I mean, they've got really just the Clockwork to be able to set up for the Mystic Flare.
Yeah, and finishing up with a Shadow Demon. I mean, it's a good way to draft if you're going to be playing super defensively, right?
KP, let's go. KP Elder Titan as well. We get a pos 3 ET through on the Shadow Demon as well. Wow. All right, so this is interesting. We were speaking about the flexibility coming through from SMG, and we're seeing it come into fruition here. How are we feeling overall about this? There's a lot kind of getting revealed here in game 1. Is there a draft you're favoring, however?
I mean, neither team has super reliable setup, right? Probably SMG has it a little bit more. I do like Neon's heroes, but in the laning stage, it's kind of tough. I mean, I'm just wanting to see how Moon's going to go against Makoto, right? Because sure, you might be a decent 1v1 matchup, but Makoto's just constantly going to be shoving out the lanes, and Moon doesn't have a way to flash farm. He needs to get his gold from kills. and you know, the scaling potential from kills with the +2, of course, coming through every time he's able to get it. KP, I mean, ET is kind of tanky, right? And you've got a lot of movement speed, so you can use it to bait for a fair amount of things. But I feel like it's a great clockwork game, you know,
Yep.
against a silencer, against an ET, even, right? You can't get a stomp off.
Um,
It's really hard to call, to be honest. What do
hmm.
you reckon?
I I'm a bit worried that they put a little bit more farm priority on the silencer because I think it's a difficult game versus Night Stalker Clockwork. These are two heroes that are hunting you down through the entirety of the game. If Slark has a good game as well, he's going to be on hot on your tail. So it really forces Silencer to go 4-staff, which I feel like, you know, probably doesn't mind. He can build that into Hurricane Pike. Maybe that's nice as the game goes on if he can really stack up the glaive damage. I'm not really sure what position 2 Silencer's been going lately. There's been a lot of emphasis, I think, on like an Aghanim's Rush. Maybe a stat item beforehand. So we'll see if the Force can maybe slow down some of the items that he's hoping for. So I'm a little bit worried about that regard, but I love that they've gone for this Shadow Demon position 4. You know, we were speaking about it yesterday when we saw, in fact, it was also SMG that ran it. Remember, it was they played the Shadow Demon Earthshaker, and I'm like, this year, I much favor as position 4. Like, with net worth, you can do so much. In a game like this, where you need the save versus the Skyeth Mage Mystic Flare, or as the game goes on, you know, the Purge versus Xiao Yu is great. So, I like it that regard. I'm really undecided. We gotta call something out here. I'll let you go first on the prediction.
I think pos for Shadow Demon is just, it's going to be incredibly good this game, but they don't have any heroes that are able to take Ancients really easily, right? So that you don't get the same stack value. Granted, Neon don't have that either. Man, screw it. I'm just going to go Neon.
I'm going SMG. I like the team fight a lot better. I feel like this game revolves around Xiao Yu having a really good game, just to hunt down the Silencer, the Shadow Demon. You know, if he has a lot of farm, then getting the Shadow Demon's a lot easier. But the issue is that laning stage, it's not easy versus the Monkey King at all. So my eyes are on how they can enable him and how they can play as the game goes on for Xiao Yu. But overall, nothing too chaotic here to start the game. 3 bounties for SMG. And a little bit of an advantage for them. So how do you feel like, though, the Slark versus ET matchup's going to fare? Now, this is something I'm really intrigued about because ET can be an incredible hero to be able to, man fight. And that's kind of what Slark wants to.
Yeah, maybe not super early on it's going to be effective, but like level 3, I'm keen to see if KP and Afu are looking to set up for anything, right? Because, well, they've actually gone the Disruption level 1 here on Afu, which I thought might be a little bit weird. Maybe just wanting to be able to create that space to get away from the clockwork. But, I mean, I'm still confused. We saw this in the series that we were casting yesterday, with Afu, where he places his Observer Ward. There's a little bit of action on the bottom side, but they're going to be able to get off the Disruption. But he blocks up the small camp with an Observer Ward, and it feels like that's going to be incredibly obvious to be able to remove. Zhao's even blocked up the other hard camp, so there's nothing that KP is going to be able to use to be able to get off that Astral Spirit now.
Yeah, that's true. We did see it yesterday where we were speaking about the Observer Ward, like, how much... Do you really want to put that much emphasis on the Observer Ward placement there? But... top lane. So, is there a way that the Skyeth Mage can maybe make this lane a little bit easier for the Night Stalker? Because we don't really see Sky a whole lot. So, is he like a decent laner?
I mean, he is, but he's also super vulnerable, right? He's got 0 armor, and the thing is, you've got a slow right now on Rogi. Maybe if Mid-1 wants to go into the Tree Dance Primal Spring as well, there's a little bit of an extra slow on top of that. But neither of them have an Orb of Venom, so I was thinking maybe they might try and chase down Hustler as soon as they saw that he wasn't carrying any kind of movement speed, whether it be a Windlace or the Boots of Speed.
We've really seen this Pangolier position 5 be super strong throughout the laning stage. Rogi, that shield crash is such an effective way to be able to harass and man fight. He's even gone for a point in Lucky Shot. If he gets a proc, he might win the man fight. Mid-1's coming over for the Boundless Strike, just out of range at the moment. But with the slow, thanks that last shield crush means that Mid-1 can sweep on over and pick up first blood. And this lane just gets that much more difficult now with the extra net worth that it can play with against the Night Stalker.
Very nicely done. Not even needing the slow. I mean, obviously you've got the shield crash there, but Yeah, put up that point to the lucky shot. It took him a few tries, but he was able to get rid of it eventually. And yeah, you can just see here, it's only 2.5 minutes. That observer ward's already been removed on the bottom side of the map. Zhao getting some much needed gold for his clockwork.
A bit of a brawling going on down bot, 458. Well, he's not winning the man fight right now. Fu's only got 1 point in poison. So the damage from 3 stacks might not be enough. Still got some mana to play with. Now with the 4th and the right click. That'll bring him down to the threshold as 458. Losing his first life on the Slark. Silver linings. No top lane. They'll get a kill on Rogi, and I was very worried that Zhao Yu's not going to have the greatest start, but getting involved, picking up a kill for himself. That's good signs here for the off lane.
Well, he's doing a pretty good job here.
How we...
Be careful this mid lane. I mean, Moon, he's had his salve cancelled a couple of times now by Moon, and how many times do you even see a silencer go a bottle super early on? It doesn't really feel like his style of item, you know, obviously wanting to stack up the intelligence as much as possible. At least for Lena's sake, she's an int hero as well, so that last word damage isn't going to be quite as high, considering it's not like that difference increases damage thing.
I wonder, like, how the Arcane Curse is going to play versus the Lena in the lane, like, at the higher levels, because Lena's, like, does like to spam out the Dragon Sleeve, and you really don't want to be continuously prolonging the curse, because if you're spamming out your abilities.
You're going to be able to take both water runes on SMG, so in terms of their lanes, everything is going well for them so far, right? They were able to pick up the first blood, having a decent time on the silencer in the mid lane. Obviously, you've got that, I think it's 75 attack range advantage on a Lena versus a silencer, but you know, forcing him to spend a fair amount on regen himself, whereas obviously securing a lot of your runes is always going to put you in a good spot. They're making a play here onto Hustler.
What a play, Zhao Yu cut down the tree, and now Rogi, he didn't get any assistance, unfortunately, for the Monkey King, and mid one unable to get some retribution there. So really cute individual play from either of the heroes here up top. That quick silence and the cut down of the tree.
I mean, mid one just left his courier in the lane as well, so a little bit more extra gold going Neon's way. They're gonna try and go for the chase here onto
It's nighttime.
But again, it's nighttime and there's no orb, so how are you going to be able to chase this down?
Oh, they just gave him the treads, mid one. Actually able to man fight now. Didn't find the angle for Zhao Yu, but he's more than happy to turn and bring down Hustler there. So that was nick of time rotation. Rogi giving him the treads and just holding on to his life. I wonder how aggressive Mikoto is looking to play on top lane. Again, Zhao Yu find the Jingu stacks, and mid one finds an extra kill. He's up to 3 already here for the Monkey King, and he's having an incredible start to the lane as we're kind of anticipating Zhao Yu to not have the greatest time. I mean, he's got 2 kills. Mid lane, Laguna Blade just cuts him down. Mikoto, no messing around. As soon as he picks up that level 6, getting a very big kill on top of the silencer. Don't know if they can catch up to Arfu, although Januel cuts off the retreat pass. There's no escape now for the Shadow Demon, and another kill for Mikoto.
Yeah, this seems like it's going to need to be one of those games that Mikoto just absolutely dominates. He's got the favorable mid matchup, but beyond that, you know, we've always talked about the fact that, you know, you do have a ways to catch up onto him. Boots of Travel obviously going to be very important. It's still core on the Lena, so I mean, it provides you with a little bit of safety, but still going to be relying on the rest of his team to be able to create that space, most notably on Hustler as well as Zhao Yu.
Do you feel like what's the different playstyle here from the position twos? Are you really wanting Mikoto maybe like a Yule Scepter and then getting aggressive across the map, or do you feel like you have enough time to go like Boots of Travel?
Dire are scanning.
I don't even know if you can afford to go the Yule Scepter, to be honest. Like, I know it's great for setting things up, and well, maybe against the Silencer actually it is quite nice, you know, being able to just Move
Mid
everything
one.
there. They're going to make another play onto mid one here. It's again nighttime. You got many stuns coming through.
This is a perfect target to bring down. They'll have to commit the Laguna Blade. You see Makoto was a little bit standoffish on how he wanted to use the ultimate, just in case there were extra reinforcements. But Arfu, it's no trouble at all. They've got plenty of damage to go through the squishy Shadow Demon, and that's an incredible timing of the rotation as well. They still have their catapult wave, so with these 2 kills and shoving the lane, they should do a lot of damage to the tier 1 tower.
They've even got Hustler sitting mid as well, so making sure that even if Moon was to push this lane in, he would be there to soak up a lot of the experience. But again, like I mentioned during the draft, you've got this Silencer who does not flash farm. He gets his farm off of kills. You know, it's not until level 10 that you're actually able to take out a creep wave.
Mid one's actually coming back, alright. Even Roger looking to try and defend the tower for as long as possible. But now Moon maybe overstepped his boundary here mid. There's were potential rotations of the tree line, so he's going to head up to where the arcane is. He's actually still found the kill on Hustler, so unfortunately out of range. You know, it doesn't even have a point in glaives anyway.
Do know that Moon's around. I think they've even pinged that out. Oh, Chow. Be careful. You'll be fine.
He takes so much damage.
Just Silencer things, you're able to dish out so much super early on, and he's going into the Midas as well, huh?
So I feel like it's pretty reliant on the level 6s on SMG to make plays. Like, especially Rogi. Like, I don't know. ET's even going Midas as well. So this is a hero that works great with experience. I mean, maxing out that natural order is really nice. Getting level 20 for the cleave and attack speed is definitely not the worst at that stage. But you're playing this ultra late game where maybe then you have to rely on mid one going for more of an aggressive build. And he is doing that with the Desolator. But I think it's all eyes as well on Rogi's Panclear on the levels. This level 6 Rolling Thunder is when they can kind of, you know, maybe get a little bit more involvement in team fights and just pickoffs.
Sure, but it just seems way too aggressive, right? On the ET, I'm totally cool with the Midas, but Silencer, I feel like you do need to be making a lot more action happen early on. And it's not even like there's something absolutely amazing that you get at level 15, for example.
This is a big kill for Makoto mid lane. He's going to attempt to TP out. Can they bring him down the threshold where he dies inside the base? But again, the fountain regen's enough, so another kill gone begging here is now Moon's in trouble. 458. Cutting off, but they've got KP and Arthur as well. So you just see that the lack of stuns are a big issue right now on SMG, and it's costing them the tier 1 tower top. I don't believe it'll cost them the Pangolier. Rogi should be able to get enough distance away from any extra reinforcements or, you know, kill threat from 458.
Honestly, it's a bit of an issue for both sides. You know, none of them have super reliable stuns, but they're going to go for another kill attempt here with Rogi. I think he has the Tome. No, it's actually going over to the Shadow Demon, wanting to give him a little bit more experience, but no Rolling Thunder still for this gank attempt, even though it is daytime. So, Zhao, you might be forced to pop
just TP out.
defensive Dark Ascension.
Global Silence gonna go straight for the TP. Moon with the double damage again. Huh? You got big issues, guys. You need that level 6. Otherwise, they're just going to continuously go for the TP. And guess what? That's Global Silence now on cooldown. So this bottom tier 1 defense gets a whole lot easier.
Talking about level 6, you do have the hook shot available on Zhao. So obviously great for being able to start these team fights. But beyond that, even if you aren't forced to use it, you know, that's another layer of team fight control. You can interrupt. And now they've even, just with these 2 supports, might be able to go for a kill onto KP.
Mid one, charging up the Wukongs inside the choke point by the tree line, but Zhao, he can get some distance away. The only issue is they haven't scouted out Arfu, so a great use of the banishment will keep KP alive. They're going to still continue to chase to the northern side as Januel is looking to be the sacrifice here. They still find... Wait, where's this kill? 458 up top. That's a big one on the Silencer.
And it's, again, a bit of a weird place for a Silencer to be, right? Like I've said, he's not good at quickly pushing out waves, so the fact that you're parking him in the dead lane makes it a bit of an interesting decision. You know, they'll be able to get a kill in exchange and take the tier 1 tower for themselves, so it's not awful. But again, this is a Silencer. You need to be dominating super early on, and again, I don't feel like picking it into a leaner lane and then putting it in this bad position for a Silencer is the right choice. Might be able to pick off Makoto here. He is pretty speedy.
He tipped it to the... Oh, it went back to base. It was Genuel to the tier 1.
And he's got his boots of travel now, so good luck catching him.
Okay, well, their issues in stuns are gonna... And now not to be as prevalent with mid 1 picking up the Deso, so he can get a lot more active in these fights. Pango, what level is he? Level 6 as well. And he's already got a blink queued up, so recognizing they need some way to start these engagements when the team fights continue to break out. But here we go. Genuel's just gonna hook on forward, hustle with a backstab. They've recognized the issue of the previous engagement where they didn't clean off the Arfu Shadow Demon. So now angling to kill him first, gets rid of the banishment survivability. It does put Hustler in a tricky position inside the river, so they're able to bring him down. It's still daytime as well, so Xiaoyu, let's be careful if he wants to continue taking this engagement.
KP's just going to walk up into the slot, but he's pretty damn beefy right now.
Global out, Rolling Thunder. If they can just get the first connection by the choke point 458, enough time for the Shadow Dance. But still, mid one's damage with the Desolator completed, but ripping apart through the AoE protection.
Yeah, I think you had complete vision, right? They had this Observer Ward up towards the right side of the mid lane, so they saw that everyone was chasing this Skywrath Mage. So instead of just going and, you know, pushing out lanes, continuing to get farm, and sure, you're going to lose a position for Skywrath Mage in response, but who cares? You know, you probably would have been able to take out a decent portion of this tower's health in the mid lane. You would have been able to secure some decent farm for yourself, but instead, they just give up an additional couple of kills. So bit of a misplay in terms of execution there coming out from Neon.
And mid one's just after the successful fight. It's going back to take a fat stack here. Looks like it's a triple for the Monkey King. Deso with 2 boundless strikes, enough to be able to pick that one up. And meanwhile, they have the Silencer Midas completed. Moon second, fluctuating between second and third in net worth. KP is a little bit behind his own Midas timing, but he's level 10, so he's gone for the attack speed talent.
Radiant are scanning.
Since there were a bunch of kills happening, I was a little confused that Moon didn't go for at least 1 point into the glaives at level 9. I think he opted to finish up the last word instead. I don't know, I feel like the difference there isn't quite as big, especially with how many plays that they're looking to try and start to make around this Desolator timing.
Dark Pack, can he get the ultimate off in time? Yes, he can, but the only issue is, once again, Roger with the Rolling Thunder, looking to lock him in place, and 458, still the Arcane Curse continue to tick. His mid one is stalking him down, but he can't get the last tick of damage to find the kill. But it's still SMG, finding at least a core in the position 3, Night Stalker. The Radiant gonna try and rally around and get back into the team fight. Genuel's gonna hook shot forward, blocks off the escape, but the path, it's not completely protected here as Arfu still, once again, the banishment, but this time it sets up for Makoto. Is able to successfully land the LSA. Now KP's the next on the chopping block. The ET's not an easy person to bring down as they're looking to go back in here, but unable to lock onto a target of Neon. Man, Makoto's gonna be careful. He's actually going for a TP. Do they have the damage? Ooh, yes, he'll tick out this time. Oh, it's been kind of the thorn in their side, these TPs, but finally Moon will bring him down inside the base.
Yeah, that's the additional effect of the Arcane Curse bonus damage that you get at level 10 now with the Silencer. He's easily the one dealing the most damage in this game, which is kind of surprising when you're against, you know, a Skywrath Mage, a Lina, a Monkey King. But right now, this is peak timing for Moon.
And
with the Slark, he nearly died just there with... If mid one just stayed up in the tree, Slark probably would have died. The only reason he still lived, I mean, he had the Arcane Curse ticking on him for a few seconds after that, but he got the Shadow Dance regen back because Moon dropped out of the trees and lost vision.
Dire's courier has been killed.
There you go. Midas completed for KP, so he's a little bit behind net worth regard, but luckily enough, he's got the Accelerant here to help him towards that late game. Already the Aghanim Scepter queued up as well.
Yeah, makes complete sense to me. Silencer, he's opting to go for his own Ags on top of everything. So that AoE, it's a 550 AoE, I believe, for the last word. So it's crazy, especially with how clumped this team generally tries to be. You know, a Clockwork, a Night Stalker, a Slark. They're going to be right in the middle of these team fights, and it's going to be really effective against all of those because not heroes that naturally want to build into a lot of intelligence. So that int multiplier that Last Word has, means that Moon's going to be able to continue to dish out a ton of damage.
Uh-oh, Makoto is found mid one here, jumping through the trees. Global silence. Not enough to keep him alive. Now they know it's on cooldown as well, so Neon can use this to their advantage. They're going to go deeper and deeper underneath the tier 1 tower, but a great use of the Earth Splitter along with the banishment might give Moon enough time to flurry out some abilities, but still they bring him down 458. The next target now, can he get anything off? A pounce inside the river, but 458 still going to end up losing his life, so SMG hold the lines. They might make it a fourth as well, as KP is chunking them down. Still has to be careful of going through too deep as Makoto into the choke point. A beautiful two-man LSA can claim the kill on KP, but still, Hustler will end up falling to end the fight.
The fact that SMG are doing this well despite going a couple of Midases is really good signs for them, you know, because they've essentially like invested in their late game by avoiding going for a lot of these early effective items. You know, I was thinking an item that seems kind of silly on the silencer is the well, not really silly, but like the Witchblade, and if you're able to get a Quicksilver Amulet on top of that, plus the Aghanim Shard, you almost feel like a Luna, you know, just with how much your glaives are bouncing around. You've also got the additional attack speed now coming from the hand of Midas, so he's going to be able to stack up a lot of intelligence super quickly, almost feeling kind of like an OD a little bit in these team.
Oh, not again. Mid one down bottom. He's trying to once again jump through the tree lines, but a beautiful ward positioning. Stop.
That's twice now that the wards have picked him off. The previous one was because of a ward down there on the low ground.
And he's been a big reason of why SMG have had a really solid early game. I mean, it was 6-1, I believe, at one stage, and 3 deaths in a row for him. It's really cutting off this early BKB timing that he was hoping for.
Yeah, they've pinged it out now, the fact that they've got the Observer Ward up on the high ground, but I think they're fairly happy with the effect that it's had now, being able to stall mid-one's timings a fair amount. And this is something that SMG like to do a fair amount, you know. Even though he was only about 700-800 gold away from his BKB, he makes that sort of play because, you know, he always wants to be on the edge. You know, he realizes that's the difference that it takes to be a T1 player.
Looking for the angle for the smoke, the route on where they can find a kill, maybe into an objective as well. Hanging around a little bit by the T1 tower, so it looks like they're a bit indecisive, but finally they'll look to try and connect with mid one. But again, man, the intel.
They were just wanting to wait for the 20-minute mark so that if they did run into the Night Stalker, he's forced to pop that ultimate if he tries to get away.
They're not going to make the same mistake twice. That lane Observer Ward will scout out Hustler. And Rochi just going to drop the Rolling Thunder. They don't see Zhao just yet. He's going to now reveal his own hand with trying to hook shot out. So this will be both supports falling for Neon with the lane shoved out as well. We'll see if SMG can try and put a little bit of pressure onto the tier 2 tower.
And this is the key difference with a position 4 Shadow Demon as well. I mean, he probably still doesn't get away just because they had 3 people chasing him, but the Aether Lens is what enabled him to actually have the range to get that disruption off onto the clockwork. So it just means that they're not wasting time chasing people, and who've they caught? That's a wasted Dark Ascension right there. They've got a huge window right now on SMG's side.
A little bit greedy there from Zhao Yu. I mean, it's not a hero that can clear waves effectively at all, and this is a huge tier 1 tower to give up, and you see Neon, they don't want to do it for free. 4 heroes teetering on the outskirts, but Makoto's in trouble, forced to pop a very early BKB to just bring down Rochi. They do commit the global silence though nonetheless in the instant tip from Makoto.
It's a bit of the save your mate syndrome, right? Like, I don't think it's worth having a global silence used to be able to protect your position 5, considering, you know, he doesn't have a lot of farm. He's going to be respawning very shortly anyway, and you know that they didn't have the Dark Ascension. So I think with that, SMG have given up a massive window for themselves where they could have been really strong in some extended team fights. Probably could have even forced a Roche, to be honest, with the Pangolier, even just the 1 point in the Lucky Shot and the Desolator on the Monkey King. Now they've given that away. Might cost them in the long run.
Do you feel like either team is happy with the status quo of the game that we have currently?
I think both are fairly satisfied. I mean, mid one, he's chasing Zhao down a little bit, just hook shots back to the creep wave. But again,
on mid lane,
you've got a couple of minuses.
Again, Zhao Yu looking to protect the tower. They know that mid one's not here, So they will at least protect the Night Stalker for some time, but mid one instantly trying to connect to the middle lane where the fight's breaking out. A beautiful boundless strike onto 2. It's going to look to try and transition this to kill on the Lina, but won't do so successfully. Now it's 4-5-8 with the attacks coming through. There was no way to deal with him through the Shadow Dance. Now forced to pop the BKB with the Purge, really slowing him down. So has some heroes nearby to protect him on their own high ground.
Lots of BKBs being popped super early on, and again, like, you're still getting effectiveness out of these Midases, right? Both of them were used before the death, so at least there's that little bonus there. Mid one, he just needs to hit the tower once with the DD and the Deso to be able to take that out. They're going to look to make a play here. Well, I thought they might have tried to go for the YOLO pounce, but Arfu, again, he's in position, and not only the 8th lens, but also the Blink Dagger that he's been able to pick up. So, you know, I always say one of the best heroes to pick to counter the Shadow Demon is the Night Stalker, but now he can be playing so far back from the rest of his team that it completely takes the Night Stalker out of the team fight if he decides to go for him. And then if he just pops the Dark Ascension and with all that extra vision doesn't see the Shadow Demon, then he'll look to overcommit, and then you can actually still have the save with the Blink Disruption.
Yeah, 100%. That's what they're looking for here for Neon. Its main priority feels like the Shadow Demon. You're so reliant on this.
He's going a Boots of Travel as well. Look at that. How often do you see that?
Mid one, not again. This time they actually don't cut down the tree, so the BKB, Wukong's coming through. Arfu hand in hand, trying to help out mid one. But they don't have any way to lock them through the Wukong, so a bit of a whiff way to start the fight. A lot of ultimates committed. As Rogi looking to try and hold them back as best as possible. They've caught Arfu on the backline. Dice will have the T1 tower for the TP point. They'll cut down the Pango with the instant buyback. Mid one, he jumped on forward. They can finally bring him down. He's been a thorn in their side this team fight. But nonetheless, a 2 for 3. They forced the buyback on the Pango and Dire. I don't think they can die on this hill now. The T1 tower down bottom. They've got to let it fall.
He's very strong right now, Moon. He's level 18. He's got the Aghanim Scepter, plus I believe a Boots of Travel coming out to him. So he's at least going to have a little bit of that safety in terms of movement speed. But, oh man, he just wasn't there right at the very beginning of that team fight to get the maximum value out of the last word.
What a crazy game one we have for the day. It's so even. I mean, the net worth leads only been about 2,000, the highest of the game, which was for SMG. And now for the first time this game, it's Neon's lead at the moment with 1,000 for them at the moment. Are there any further item timings we're seeing about to be picked up for Radiant where they could accelerate this lead?
Have a quick look here. Going into a 2 Silver Edges. Wow. Makoto's already been able to pick one up. He might look to try and catch out Arfu, but it's nighttime, so he doesn't have the vision. What's Night Stalker going for? Still a fair ways away from that BKB, and Ags on the Skywrath. Nothing major, honestly, on the Radiant. The big timings for mine are for Moon. You know, if he's able to pick up that 4-staff on top of the Boots of Travel that he already has, I think he's going to be incredibly hard to take down. And then, of course, the Aghanim Scepter coming for KP. Probably going to hit it around the same time as his level 15, which is exactly what you want as this Elder Titan. Makoto, you're a little deep, buddy.
But it was an early boundless. There's no extra follow-up. Just going to look for a BKB TP out. And Dire had a ward on the high ground, so they were aware of Xiao Yu's positioning. Meanwhile, mid lane, though, 4-5-8. It might run into Arfu. Can instantly just get the banishment off. They need some way to cancel that. They might look to jump Moon instead. They know the recognition of how important the Shadow Demon is, so now they can go back and get rid of the Silencer with ease. They're still sticking around. Mid one. Charge up the ultimate again. He'll cut down the tree. Can they chain lock him before the Wukongs? Mid one pops the BKB. Now with the ultimate for the bonus armor. He can try and stand his ground and manfire, but he sees no one, so he can't get any right clicks off his 4-5-8 and co. Cut down mid one. And the side of Neon looking to clean up as KP. There's no escape for the Elder Titan. They can chase him through and through. A full 5-man wipe underneath the tier 1 tower.
I mean, a lot of players would look to sell that Quelling Blade as soon as they can get the item slots for it, but not Xiao Yu. He's been able to hold on to it. I think that's like 5 times that he's been able to cut mid one out from the trees. Once he was able to get a BKB off before it happened, but still so effective at being able to disrupt this. And yeah, against a Night Stalker, you don't have right? He's always going to have vision of you in the trees.
there seems to be huge issues right now on how SMG can set up their formation in these fights and just in general right now. Like, Shadow Demon's getting caught, Silencer's getting caught. These are two heavy components of their lineup, and we're not really seeing their team fight prowess come into the fray. Like, I edged on SMG just because I thought they were going to be able to topple Neon because of their team fight ultimates, but we're really not seeing them be used as effectively, and it's costing them a pretty huge lead here as it's continuing to grow to 5,000.
He's underneath the sentry.
Mid
This
one.
is a pickup.
It's gonna go for a BKB TP out once again.
Yeah.
Successful.
He's too big at this point, and that finally the tip comes back there from Moon onto Mikoto. He's tired of it, and this is exactly what we were talking about before. You get the lucky shot proc. It's even 2 more levels than when I mentioned it previously, plus the Desolator. This should be an easy-ish Roach that they're able to get. And you talk about the team fight, well, now they've got it. You know, KB, he's picked up his Ags. Mid one as well with that kill, finishes up his own Ag Scepter.
I am mighty.
Oh,
Damage just helps things out.
Try and control Xiaoyu.
And that's big.
Nightstalker's in trouble though. Let's see, with at least a position 3, Januel trying to clean out our food.
He's still alive.
It's giving a lot of space for 458. I say that though. He's getting brought incredibly low. Pops the BKB at the last second, but that's a lot committed from Neon. They've got to retreat away to cut their losses as best as possible with the detection. So onto the eastern side, Arfu Blinkfoot. Now they've got the dust, and there's no escape for the Stark. They'll surround him, give no opportunity for the pounce, and now they can go back for Roshan.
Oh, he's might be having to look for a little bit of a hero play here on Zhao.
Hooks down for 15. Or maybe.
No, he's got the 4 stuff.
Oh, they see him.
Never know.
Oh, it's an attempt. Instantly cancel it out of any opportunity though, and just an extra kill to add to the tally is what was a 5,000 net worth lead for Neon cut instantly to an even game.
And you just see the power again of that position 4 Shadow Demon, right? If he doesn't have the Blink Dagger, he's not able to kite out that Slark the entire time. That plus the whip, able to give him that extra little bit of movement speed that he needs to get away, kites him out entirely, essentially makes a Shadow Blade, Shadow Dance, BKB.
Alright, they're gonna catch out the Silencer, tip back and forth there. A little bit of banter going on. Mikoto, Moon, they're back and forth tips. We got some spicy action.
Maybe they had a bit of an interesting pub recently, you know?
They're still hanging around, Xiaoyu. Sees a lot of SMG at the moment. Oh, they just smoked up. Are they starting the fight? Xiaoyu's the target. The free pathing makes it difficult. They're going to try and burn through the first light, but again, Arfu's such a key component, so they're going to look to turn mid one with the Wukong, soloing down the Lina. Not enough time though with the chain lockdown as Mikoto can get the BKB off and is now look to stand his ground. Roji's back to the low ground, so SMG, some ultimates wasted. They're still looking to put the pedal to the metal mid one. Man, he's so anxious here with how they can cut down the trees, but looks like with the help of Roji and ET, there's no escape for the Clockwork. 458 still sticking around.
He's keen. I don't know about this. It's underneath the sentry ward.
Dude,
back off in time.
I'm getting anxious when mid one's jumping through the trees. Like the amount of times he's been cut down, every time I see him jump through aggressively, I'm like, not again, man, not again.
But he's gotten rid of it now. He doesn't have it anymore on the Night Stalker. Wanting to get closer, have a little bit more of that team fight survivability, to have that that BKB picked up eventually, which he will get after this creep wave. I don't know, I feel like really good value still though. You know, maybe the Clockwork needs to pick it up.
458. He knew there was vision there. He pinked it out instantly. They'll lay it down the Earth Splitter with the Rolling Thunder. That's a big mistake. 458. You pinked out there was a ward. You were happy with farming there. You knew. Oh no.
You knew they were off the map and you stayed there anyway.
Is under attack.
It's gonna cost them the T2 tower now as mid one and his army clean up their second T2. Yeah. He's looking for a reset though. No, not too happy with his resources. So SMG, what a way to even up this game once again though.
Not a crazy amount of intelligence stolen by Moon. He's only been nearby for 10 of the kills, but he's actually opting to go into the Shadow Blade, which I mean, I'm not crazy about it. I suppose it means that with this Night Stalker in particular, if he's the one that's trying to jump on you, then it means that he does need to carry some sort of detection. It would mean, giving up one of those braces for either a gem or some dust, which is always, a big hit to his survivability and eventual ability to scale as well.
I guess it's just as soon as you hit Dark Ascension, you pop that Shadow Blade. If your Night Stalker does an instant blink on where you think their position and pop a dust, there's big issues. Maybe they can give him a gem shortly because of some of those issues, but you've also got multiple heroes with your own invisibility. So if you give up that gem, it could really cost you.
Top tower has fallen.
It's even going to make him incredibly fast, right? Just popping the movement speed for the extra 20%. He's already got the boots of travel, so he'll be moving at nearly max movement speed.
They're setting up top. I mean, they've got ages for another minute. Maybe trying to get what essence they can. They've caught out Moon, but instantly. No detection here. They weren't able to scout out the Shadow Blade usage. Mid one's going to jump in aggressively, the Wukongs. He doesn't use it for the first life. But at least they brought him down really far behind the T2 tower. They'll overlap the global silencer. Mid one will be enabled to pop the BKB and the ultimate, but they're just hiding him at the moment. Mid one doesn't have any assistance to lock in 458 because of the Shadow Dance. Now with the ultimate expiring, he's going to jump to the northern side of the tree line, but there's no escape for the Slark. The rest of the team way too split. Detection once again still lacking. Tell me he doesn't escape.
He gets out of it.
No way, KP. Dust on cooldown. Have they still got vision of him? They target him. Sentry drop now. They will scout him out. It took them a hell of a lot of time. They still will bring down 458 Slark.
They got their man. And it was a lot of good individual plays coming out there. Hustler able to dodge out a ton of focus. He essentially kited out the full duration of that Rolling Thunder, able to get away with the use of the Blink Dagger and the Spider Legs, but the main target, of course, is the carry. So the fact that, 458, he's died a couple of times. That one you can't really fault him too much for because they were going for an aggressive play. But, the previous death just enabling them to set up in this position to be able to continue pushing forward is the big difference maker right now. No buyback still.
They caught out Moon.
Gold remaining.
He'll somehow cut through the cogs. They pop the force. Makoto's falling really low. Yeah, Makoto will fall. All that space and attention, they kind of tunnel vision to try and clean off Moon, but Makoto doesn't have a buyback. Hustler might be in trouble as well. Ghost Scepter giving him some time. Still might tick out to the Arcane Curse. Just gets back inside the base, but Neon, it's daytime. Now they're crumbling right now without the buybacks.
It's getting chased out. Again, KP can afford to play this super aggressive role. Mid one getting very low. Just realizing that, there's not a ton of kill threat, but eventually he's just going to TP all the way back.
Oh, that is a lot of real estate taken across the map. A full set of barracks claimed up top. Tier 3 about a third health remaining as well in the middle lane, and also a mass accumulation of gold as well, as we see. Not only that, experience is a big one too. It's a big lead right now for the side of SMG, and the next set of items soon to come.
It's a fair way away, but that nullifier can be the big turnaround factor for Neon, right? Just the consistent dispel is going to be good against the Jingu once it builds up onto mid one. It's going to be great against the Astral Spirit on the Elder Titan. Hell, even just the Shadow Blade on Silencer is going to be able to be removed. Even Shield Crash, right? We've seen so many times the Pango so tanky in a lot of these team fights, but if you're able to instantly take that away from him, you can burst him down. And again, there is still kind of the issue that they are lacking a decent amount of reliable lockdown.
It doesn't feel like this game's going to get any easier though for Neon. Like you're closing it on 25.
458, this is a ballsy play.
Is under attack.
And that's the Ags finish for Afu as well. Again, position 4, you're able to get all of this value out of, just a few extra stacks, building up a lot more of that passive gold. And now, I mean, how do you take this fight as someone like a Slark or a Night Stalker that needs to consistently be running around?
No, they're going to jump on Hustler. Ghost Scepter will not protect him this time. Just amplifying Rochi's damage. There's the early use of the Rolling Thunder.
Only the Depth Shroud, at least, on the Slark. He didn't have use his Shadow Dance, so Still consistently survivable for himself.
A jump in, Xiaoyu. Oh man, what a silence onto multiple heroes, but mid one still unable to get the BKB. Wukong, and they can't continue on with the onslaught as mid one just lays down the Wukongs. There's no opportunity to push on forward for more as SMG instantly forced multiple buybacks out of the side of Radiant, and now you've got a huge numbers advantage. 4-5-8. Now the use of the Death Shroud coming into play. Xiaoyu, once again, that's a great target. They'll clean off Moon, but KP back into the action, cleaving him through left, right, and center.
Zhao even completing that TP. He's got hook shot in 10. And might look to continue chasing down, but it cost them heavily again. Slark going down inside the threat of that Wukongs. It took so much for them to be able to take out the Shadow Demons. Some good team play coming out as well. Moon realizing that the Force Staff isn't necessarily just for his own survivability, making sure that the Shadow Demon got out of that and forcing a second round of initiations to be needed by Neon. So getting some buybacks, getting the favorable kill trades. So again, the lead just continues to extend more and more. And man, it's a 13k net worth lead, but I didn't think it was a 98% win probability sort of game. Maybe like 90.
Whew. All right. BKB
98%? Do you reckon it's 98%?
I don't, but Daddy Gaben says this is a hard one to come back into. Are they not even... I guess they haven't scouted out this second row. So with the DD mid one, it's going to pounce up the high ground. I mean, Radiant used a lot of buybacks previously. Night Stalker, Sky, and the Clockwork both on cooldown.
Oh, they caught Mikoto.
So again, Genuel, a nice jump. Locking back mid one. This might give them a window to try and bring down the Pango. Look how tanky he is, man. Rochi, this shield crush is broken. He doesn't die through all of the damage they try to dish out on him in a mid one. He's got the 25 talent. So it just lays down the Wukongs. There's no way they can have a route into this fight. And now they can just reset.
Well, they can just go Roche now. I mean, they got the key pickoffs that they needed. And well, by the time Night Stalker's up, it's going to be daytime again. So the fact that he had to use that buyback previously, I talked about how Nullifier might have been their avenue back into this game. But not anymore. There's absolutely no chance that you're going to have it before SMG are knocking on your door to get those mega creeps. Pango's busted.
Yes,
Say
sir.
it again and again.
Yes, sir. Global use early. They know mid one doesn't have Wukongs. 458 though hasn't really locked onto a target, so that's an early use of the BKB. They're gonna lay down the Earth Splitter, and they'll lay down all the AoE damage, followed up with it as well. They're not done just yet. Roshi gonna be a bit more cautious as Selena's damage is still stacking up. Have they scouted out Xiao though? Oh,
Yeah,
yes, they have.
I was about to say, can he go for the YOLO?
Mid one.
Although mid one. Lena,
Timing the BKB, Mikoto trying to bring him down. One more right click.
Right.
They've got the sentry. It's the Mikoto
right,
show.
Mikoto.
Brings the second. Looking for the third. No way Mikoto can do this. They have to lock down. The BKB's about to expire. Paired up with Hustler. The lack of stun showing, so they have to turn for Arfu. A 2-on-2 at the moment. Looks like Arfu. Still not easy to bring down. Just a reset. Mikoto gives them some signs of life to be able to bring this
He
back.
doesn't go for this, does he?
Oh,
He just sneaks into the Roche pit. It's looking pretty low.
wait, KP TP it out.
Don't get greedy.
KP
Just, just finish it.
Oh, wait, no way. What?
Radiant are scanning.
He's hitting really hard.
Roshan
Who do you give the Ags to? Man, they don't have the greatest Ags. Ag shot, sorry.
Maybe Sky?
I don't know, honestly. They've got some atrocious Ags.
Yeah. Just to be able to survive that little bit longer, you know, the extra armor against the ET that's going to be bashing your skull in. He's going for a Daedalus, by the way, on KP.
Oh, lovely. Got all the... Man, he's 26.
Yeah.
Going for the Echo Stomp, Wake Talent, any other 25s we got to go through at the moment. Lena with the attack range.
Oof. I think they got the Aegis, that's, you know, all well and good, but I think this game is going to be donezo as soon as that silencer gets another 25% of his experience.
Ooh, yeah, that's... He's got Spell Prism too. Oh no,
Yeah.
8.2 seconds? It lasts for 6, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
They got
nice.
any status resist on Neon? I don't think they do. Nope. They got none, and you can't pop them BKB when you're muted.
You might have to get back to the base. Dire looking to try and catch out any stragglers. Mid one just jumping through the tree line.
There it is. He's coming. Shadowblade, level 25. And I'm sure that mid one's just going to look to lay down the Wukongs, pop his BKB, and be totally fine. That was a keen Mystic Flare. I suppose it's got a low cooldown.
Alright, so for people that didn't see, Xiao Yu was the one given the Arcanum Shard, so you know, it's definitely not the worst. It gives him great uptime across the map. The only issue is you're kind of stuck inside your base. So we'll see how much value they really get out of this.
I mean, that's the value of being up against super creeps, right? It's,
true.
You could consume that they got more HP. So.
They're coming out.
Ooh,
Looking to target down Moon. Oh no, just a blink at the last second. Xiao Yu giving them a lot of vision advantage at the moment, but Clockwork just ripped apart solely from mid one. They're still looking at mid man fight here, but 458's gonna be careful. Shadow Dance used early. A break as well. They haven't got it on top of the Shadow Team, and so Radiant, they might have to look to retreat as Xiao Yu just finds nothing out of this fight. Now the Global Silence laid down as well. 458. He can get the BKB off, looking to try and pounce away. With one more right click, they'll bring him down. Makota's in trouble as well, attempting a BKB into the TP, but that seems like all she wrote as an incredible last team fight from SMG should claim the game one.
Middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, they're not even going to bother with taking that last set. They're just diving the fountain, going for the kill onto Hustler. Will this be enough? Yes, it will. KPZO split it, doing the work, and yeah, they can just look to end this one here.
Makes me feel like they weren't too happy about those tips earlier. That's how I'm taking this. Moon? Moon? Okay, KP now? BKB's on cooldown. Oh boy, oh boy. What a performance from SMG though. With how they're able to execute these last team fights. It was, you know, we saw those Midases were coming in a little bit slow for them, but man, mid one had a stellar lane and gave them a lot of space.
For me, it's still KP. You know, as soon as he was able to finish up that Aghanim Scepter, he just created so much space for his team because Makoto couldn't move forward. You know, so many times it was him finally able to just freely act as this machine gun from the back lines. But if you've got an Elder Titan sitting up in front of your face, just bashing away at you without any risk of being locked down, I mean, they had nothing in terms of BKB piercing disables other than a hook shot, and that only saves you for 1.5 seconds. So I think KP, with the amount of team fights that he was able to participate in, I think he was part of 42 out of their kills, which is kind of nuts considering there was only 50 kills in that game.
It was an overall solid performance, it felt like, from SMG. There was, you know, kind of a separate game in itself as well. We were highlighting a lot through that game with the factor that Neon were continuously looking to hunt Arfu. Just the involvement that he needed to have with the banishment was a huge factor in a lot of the early game fights, which kind of delayed maybe, you know, some kills to lead into some items. But do you feel like what do you think was one of the biggest issues for Neon? Is it a draft issue? Maybe they weren't able to hit their timings at a stage they were looking for?
I'm not sure what this Slark did, to be honest. Like 458, sure there was some individual misplays in there, but it just didn't feel like the sort of game where you're like, right, Slark, he's going to be the one that carries this one forward. I mean, how many times did he kill Moon? Like, it was 4 times, but I feel like Makoto did the job just as well, and then you still had a bunch of other heroes that just had free reign to do whatever the hell they wanted. You know, KP was hitting harder than him in the lane once he hit level 3. And yeah, I think there was the issue eventually of they just, again, this pesky Shadow Demon, man. You can't get onto him and you can't take him down super quickly. Like, look at the end of the game. He even had a ninja gear on top of everything. So he can just stay completely invisible to the entire team fight until he decides that he wants to join in and help the rest of his team.
Yeah, well, I'm really excited at least for Game 2 draft as well. I want to see the priority on first pick and side in particular, because we saw the emphasis. Either team, they felt like they were pretty happy with with what they got for their opener, the Lina for Neon, and then for Dire with that Pangolier. So I'm all eyes on how the difference is going to be. If there's maybe a respect band coming out from this Game 1, because Pango, I mean, we keep saying this here, man. It didn't get answered with the Bloodseeker. There's big issues here, and this is a position 5 that had a really solid lane with mid 1 heavily enabled him, and just how he was able to play as the game went on as well. They had big issues early on with their lack of stuns, but as soon as he had the blink, we saw his involvement, great use of the Aghanim shard as well, just that U-turn in fights. Honestly, it was a really solid performance from Roger as well, all of SMG. So my eyes in particular, I'm really excited to see how the draft is going to fare in regards to, the respect bands, and maybe some heroes now might get let through in the second game. But overall, SMG, a beautiful way to be able to start our day 4 here of the group stages for the BTS Pro Series Season 7.